Welcome back to CodinGame Fall Challenge 2023. We are in the Wood League, Wood 1 League. I think we're getting there. There's a couple of things I want to implement today, which I think could push me to the top of this league, because they're both quite powerful. So, one is... well, let's go through all the to-dos first. All right. Todo. This one becomes more viable now, but I'll get into that later. Bonus points. This will actually... Yeah, we'll be able to do this one easily once we implement, once we keep better track of which fish is still on the map. So yeah, we'll be able to cover that one today, I think. This one's interesting. Yeah, this one's a minor improvement, but I'm thinking we should always leave an emergency amount of battery for these situations where we see a fish in our outer radius, but we can't turn the light on because it's we're out of battery. So we should always keep a reserve of 5 battery charge, especially for this situation. That will avoid having to do this. Let's think. Yeah, this is not... Basically, we should keep... Yeah, do that instead. That can be done easily. All right. Check the unscanned fish. Yeah. Also, let's make sure we make these like chat. Make these headings. If we have potential bonus points, yeah, definitely do that. That's one of the big ones we want to do. Just chase the rest of the fish away. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. All right, and then this one here kind of falls out from the keeping track of fish. Once we actually know roughly where every fish is and which fish exist, we can stop hanging around these bands and instead hunt down the fish we're actually looking for. So this will become more powerful. It sort of goes back to what we were doing in the Wood 3 League, when we could see all the fish. Now it's like we can see all the fish, we just have a rough estimation of where they are. But we know we'll be able to hunt them down if we just kind of go towards their rough location. So, yeah, we can do that as well. Yeah, we need to do this one. All right, so yeah, all these to-dos I can do now, and I think they'll all be good. Together we will make the most powerful drones. So also, let's have a look at the old leaderboard. Again, we keep disappearing from this thing. Alright. Circle of 17 is position 52. Who is 576? These guys are also doing well. Seal was in chat a few days ago. Okay. Alright, we've got work to do. Where do I want to start? I think let's do with the... Let's deal with the radar stuff first, because that comes from the input. So, how do we want to Right, so I think for each creature, we want to store a map of their known locations. So we want to store a map of where we saw them, how long ago that was, and separately we want to store, let's say, a bounding box for where we know they are. So in general, it's going to be the whole band. But we have information from both of our drones. So you can actually make an intersection to get a narrower bounding box, which will almost always give us a smaller box, unless we're like right in the corner or something. That's yeah. I'm curious, if a creature goes off the map, should we destroy the creature? No, because we might still have a scan of that creature. So, interesting. So we don't want to actually destroy the creature altogether because we might still have a scan of it. So we still actually need a map of its creature IDs because it will come up in the scan. So we need to keep the creature. I was tempted to just delete it from this creatures list, but we can't. So we actually need to keep them always. But we can mark that a creature's gone by changing its location. So I mean, all right. I think for creature, we want to add a new variable saying where it is, and it's going to be a bounding box, so it's going to be like x1, x2, y1, y2, which defines where it is. And to begin with, it can just be, you know, within its band. I think the best way to do this. All right, so let's say creature. It's a new variable, which is going to be bounding box, which is a tuple. Oops. I think we should just define a new init, because some of these we don't want to be supplying. Let's see, ID num, color, type, those are fixed. Okay, and then the other ones. Not allowed to do this, are we? I don't like to do the pos -1 thing because it's kind of a valid pos. All right, if I just take these out. Self dot bounding box equals I mean, we could initialize it with the bounding box, but there's no reason to, because we'll get the information from the radar anyway, so say none. Just say none, 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 none. All right. So we don't need to just Just leave these out. And now, when we get a creature, we need to figure out its bounding box. So all right, I think we want to define a method called reset bounding box. This one just sets the bounding box to what we know is the band that it's supposed to be in. So that does self.bounding box equals, so it's going to be the x values are going to be 0 bit. The y values are going to be type bands. Type bands, so it's going to be self.type zero and 1. So we can do, let's do this. All right. Now what? So when we just make sure that actually runs. Right, so when we see a radar, we need to reset the bounding box and now intersect it with okay. I guess we do make a helper method here. So we need a pause. We need a method which gets the intersection of two boxes. Put it up here. So that's box 1 and box 2. We'll get a new box. So the small x is going to be min b1 0, b2 0, max. No. It's the max. So we know that it's within the intersection, so it has to be the max of the small x's, the min of the big x's. B1, 1, B2, 1. And then similarly, so it'll be the max 2, 2, the min of 3, 3. Those are the x's and y's. Yeah, and that's one big tuple. No. Why are there so many parentheses at the end here? Damn it. It's fine. So that's the intersection between two boxes. All right, so I think we want to first start by setting every creature's bounding box to none, because then if we don't get something from this, we know that it actually doesn't exist. Okay. For creature in creatures.values, just set the bounding box to be none. Not a tuple. Okay. So every turn we do this. Just set them all to be none. And then for each radar, so pull up the ID. If creature dot bounding box is none, then just reset it. Creature dot reset. That means if we've seen a blip, that means we know it's on the map. Okay, so we can initialize it to that band. Then we've got to say so creature dot bounding box hang on. Should we just make this intersection thing a member creature? So this is how we would always use it. So self.bounding box equals. So we would use self.bounding box B self.bounding box B self.bounding box B self.bounding box B. I don't think there's any other situation we would need intersections of boxes for now, so let's just do that. Or we can say so we need to know we need to check all the radar, so all the quadrants. So okay, it's just, I mean, it's just an if else thing. So what other things we get? We have to account for sharing coordinates as well. Okay, so these boxes are inclusive, so they could be on the locations. Are they allowed to be on the edge of the map? If it reaches the edge, it will rebound off the edge. I assume it's allowed to be on the edge. Okay, whatever. So these boxes are inclusive. Also, I'll get my coffee. Okay, if... Alright, what do the things look like? TL, okay. If... Oh man, we need to find the drone as well. Drone equals that, basically. I don't like doing this, but whatever, there's just two things to iterate through. Should we just make this a method? Get drone by drone ID. Well... yeah, let's do that. It's either that or you just keep track of another map. I mean, we don't need to be constructing this list here at this point. We can just do this. Just say for d in self dot my drones, if d dot id num is drone id, return d, and then just do the same here. slightly more efficient, I guess. No need to construct another list. Alright, so get drone. So we can use that instead of this filter. Where did I do that? Drone equals here. Just do this. So that gets the drone. Oh, hang on. Oh. Nothing's been attached to the game yet, that's why we can't do this. I see, that's why I did this in the first place. This is... I can't make it a game method. Alright, there's no point having this then. So yeah, just use this line then, doesn't matter. Radars are only for me. Or do I get radars from the enemy as well? Because that would be weird, but possible, I suppose. We can try printing to see what happens. I'll just do that for now. Alright. Log drone ID. So we should get I just want to see what these look like. Log. Let's just log inputs. Let's see what we get. From 0 to, so you only get your own. I mean, sure, that makes sense. So drone equals, so just use this thing again. But we don't need to use enemy drones in this case, so we can just do that. So that gets the drone's location. So then from that, we can extrapolate a bounding box for the creature. So we just got to do all the cases. If radar equals top left, then bounding box will be, so the x value 0, max x value, so it's includes the drone's current x value. So like that. Y value 0. And it also includes that. So basically, we have to just repeat this for each case, but it's not completely symmetric because if we go top right, for example, then it's going to be drone.pos.x plus 1. It's not allowed to be drone.pos.x. Up to and including width minus 1. Ooh, I made a mistake up above. So, the creature's bounding box can't be a width. It has to be width minus 1. Where did I? Here. Width minus 1. It's not allowed to be on. It's not that the width would be outside the box. Okay. So turn to width minus 1. And Y value goes from 0 to including drone dot position to Y. That's correct. Okay. If it's bottom right, so we go from that to width minus 1, and we go from drone.pos.y plus 1 to width minus 1. And here we've got bottom left. So we go from 0 to drone.pos.x. And we go from drone.pos.y plus 1 to width minus 1. Creature to update bounding box with B. Yeah, B might not exist, whatever. We'll just throw an error if that happens. So that updates the bounding box. So just make sure that doesn't crash. So after this is done, I want to print all the creature's bounding boxes. We might get some nuns towards the end of the game. That's interesting. Do we ever get any nuns? Do they ever... No, no fish get frightened off the edge of the map in this execution. Should try another one. I just want to see if it probably works. I assume it just if a fish has disappeared, it just won't appear in this for loop. There we go. Look, a fish is gone. Is it that crab down there? Yeah, look, that crab's gone. That one there in the corner. So he appears as none. Perfect. This is really useful now. So our algorithm now, instead of hanging around these bands, we should just target whatever, the fish worth the most points and just go towards it. But we can assign one to each drone. So how goes depopulating the ocean? Well, I mean, we're only scanning, so unlike in Subnautica, we're not actually taking life out of the oceans. We're just scanning it and moving on. Whereas in Subnautica, we're just like harvesting all the coral and to build a rocket. That even makes sense, but apparently that's what we do. Yeah, so we don't actually kill any fish, which is a good message. I think in the next league, though, we might actually get killed by big fish. We'll see. I think they introduced some sort of enemies. So now we roughly know where every fish is. Well, this prediction is redundant if we actually see it. So, for example, we're looking at this crab. You can see its exact coordinate. So this bounding box is kind of redundant. It's like it says, oh, it's somewhere between 0 and 5,000, but we can see it right there. Fine. Wait. Hang on. Oh, there's the boss that's chasing it, so... I see, okay. We can't see it, the boss sees it. Okay, but if we see a fish, we already are dealing with that anyway. Okay, so basically, this search, we need to change how we do it. So for a drone, we want to make a list of all the fish. All the unscanned fish. Unscanned creatures. And sort them by the distance to their we need to, okay, we need a variable here. We need a list or a set of fish that are being hunted by other drones. We only get 2 drones, but still, we need this set. So if a drone is hunting a fish, we need to mark that as hunted, so that no other drone tries to go for that same fish. So we need a hunted fish. I'm just gonna start calling them fish now. It's fewer characters than creatures, but now there's whatever. Now you're using 2 different names for them. I could just do a full rename throughout the document. Hunted fish equals set. All right, so we want best fish equals. So basically we want the maximum amongst unscanned creatures hang on. If there's one unscanned creature, there's a weird situation here. If there's only one unscanned creature and the first drone goes for it, then there's nothing there. So, in that weird situation, both drones should probably go for the same fish. Okay, how about this? We just say candidates equals list sorted unscanned creatures key equals lambda f. So for a given fish, we want to minimize the negative of its type, because that'll mean it's better if it's has a higher type. And we want to minimize the distance, so it's going to be f dot, so it's going to be drone dot pos dot dist to with f dot pos. Is that right? So we take all the fish that we haven't scanned yet. Oh. We need to take away all the ones with no bounding box. This is okay. That makes it interesting. So so it's gonna be like C for C in creatures if C dot bounding box is not none. It's actually that. Not all values. It's probably fine. Okay, so we sort on that key. Take all this out. All right, if length candidates, so if there's only one candidate, or or there are no hunted fish, then best fish equals, let's say, target fish equals whatever the first candidate is. Otherwise, we go for the second one. If there's more than one, if there's more than two drones later on, then we'll have to redo this. Okay. So we want to go for the in most cases we want to go for the, well, the first drone will go for the first fish, second drone will go for the second fish. And if there's only one fish left to be unscanned, it's an odd situation, but it needs to be accounted for, then both drones will go for that fish. we need to head to the center of the prediction spot. So creature, we need a get predicted spot method. See, it could be a smart method. It could take into account where our last known position was and some sort of decay method to work out where roughly it should be. For now, we can just take the center of the bounding box. So we can say get predicted pause turn pause. So the X value will basically be so x1, x2, y1, y2 equals self.bounding box. So you just want to just do this. So just add the two. And divide by 2. Go to that spot there. So we go to the center of the bounding box, the centroid essentially. Self.move drone target fish dot pause. Do we want to put the light on? Yes. And hunted fish dot add target fish. So now we should just be hunting down the best fish all the time. Let's see if this actually works. It may well crash. This is radical change. All right. Less than not supported between instances of creature and creature. What? We've got f.type, which is an int. Drone.pause.dist with f.pauseF. Fish. Just call it C for now because it's called creatures. So drone.pause.dist to c.pause. Is this correct? Drone.pause. Dist 2 is... Oh! No, that's fine. Dist 2 with creature.pause. So... Oh! Creature.pause is none. No, we're not going for its position. We're going for its get predicted position. Well, why would we get this error though? Why is it trying to compare instances of creature and creature? But anyway, we're actually going towards. Yeah, why are we doing this? It should be target fish.get predicted pos. Try that. I don't understand why it was throwing that error though. Invalid syntax. That's probably a missing bracket or something. Sorted oh, that bracket shouldn't be there. It shouldn't double dot. Length. Candidates. Okay. So we are these two. The color choice is terrible for this. Like, why couldn't they just make them wildly different colors? It looks pinkish orange. Bloody hell. That just accelerated us massively to the top because we're going for the fish we know we want. And we're picking the one that's closest to our drone, so we're sort of spreading out and avoiding going for the same fish as well, which ends up... See, having the drones separated is good, because then the radar is more precise. It gives a more precise bound on where the fish is. Gotta love the random errors that are missing bracket or colon make. Yeah. Yeah, they're annoying to debug because the runtime error is... It doesn't know what you did, so the runtime error is always going to be something really unexpected. You just got to have the IDE warn you when that happens. To be fair, it did. I just wasn't reading the warning correctly. It underlined it, but I was just like, it's probably fine. Sometimes it underlines it and I don't agree with it warning, but actually it looks like this time round we're actually doing okay. We're not getting in many warnings. Last time I did one of these competitions, my document was full of warnings. I guess I'm doing it in a better way this time. I'm using these classes, data classes, which eliminate some of the warnings. It's warning me here. What's this? Opt out. Oh yeah, B might not exist. See, this is one of the warnings that I want it to be an error if B doesn't exist, because I want it to crash and fail early so that I know and I see an error, rather than continue running with some default, because then I'll never know that it's using that default. I want it to not use that default. But if you're making a software product, you don't want the program to crash for the user. You want it to just use some sensible backup default. So it's these are one of the warnings I always ignore. On the whole, we're doing well. Don't have many warnings. So, okay, we can take that out. What happens if I just submit now? The other thing I wanted to do is go to the top when I have bonus points. However, that might not even be beneficial, because it seems like we are now just trying to grab all the fish in one huge rush before the opponent can, and then get to the top. And when we do that, we claim a whole bunch of bonus points. So instead of spending the time going to the top, claiming the partial bonus points, then going back for more, if I just rush to get all the fish before my opponent does, that actually seems to be the winning strategy. And I don't know what the boss is doing here. Why does the boss stay still there? Why does he just turn his engines off? Wait, no, he's not even turning his engines off. He's using engines to keep himself in that position, which is worse. Worse than just letting gravity take you. So that's a very strange starting move, because there's no fish in that ban. Do they share scans? Because the pink drone just stays at the bottom. They don't share scans. No. So if one drone has a bunch of scans, he has to bring those scans to the top, unless the other drone has the same scans. So this is a very odd first move for the boss. I can't think why he's doing that. So the way the boss works is that there is no boss initially. And while the league is open, they wait a while, the devs behind this site, until, you know, a lot of people have submitted solutions and stuff, and then they look at the rank, the leaderboard, and then they pick someone who's near the top or a certain percentage of the way on the leaderboard, and they elevate that person to be the boss. So the boss is actually somebody's code, an snapshot of what their code looked like at that time. But the devs normally kind of pick and choose a bit. They don't want, they choose a boss that kind of looks like it's doing something sensible and not too much RNG, and you know, looks like it'll make a good boss. So this is an odd one. I don't know why they're always waiting here, because there's no fish here. There never will be. So they're... Oh, but then they move. I don't know what's triggering them to move. It seems like purely wasted time. Okay, interesting. Just one more execution. It looks like we will win. See, they lag it. They wait again. That's killing them. Why do they do that? Okay, submit. This might win us the league. Then we'll get the final set of rules. Oh yeah, wins across the board. That was the massive thing that I completely missed. The fact that we have radars pointing us to every fish. Like, that completely changes the game. See, it's not highlighted, so it must have come in the previous league. I just didn't notice it. It's like, without that, you don't even know if some fish are on the board. And you have no way to know, ever. Which would have created an interesting situation, because then you just have to kind of guess, like, okay, I've spent X amount of time looking for this fish, I can't find him. At some point you've got to give up and just assume it's gone, or something like that. So that would make for a very interesting strategy. But they've just straight up given us radars, telling us whether the fish is on the map or not, so, okay. Because it would also make for a good aggressive move. Because if you're scaring fish off the map, the enemy won't know you've done that. So you can really harm your opponent by scaring fish off that they might need to complete their combos. So giving this radar weakens that aggressive strategy, so it's not really... It makes it less... It makes it just less beneficial to be aggressive. Because... You can still deny them their bonus points, but you don't deny them knowledge. Alright, so that was a big change. Anything else I want to do? I think I want to do a one big find and replace. Change every word creature to fish, because I'm tired of typing out creature. Oh, they're not technically fish, but... I mean, if they're sold at a fish market, then they count as fish. I mean, those fish sticks, those pink crab sticks you get in supermarkets, they don't actually contain any crab. They're just kind of mushed up fish ground into a paste. It would be too expensive to use actual crab, and it would go off really really quickly because crab expires like crazy. So yeah, crab sticks don't contain crab. A lot of people don't know that. It's just kind of fish matter. That being said, here in Asia, they don't normally call them crab sticks. They normally call them seafood sticks. And it's pretty clear that they don't contain crab. Doesn't even really taste like crab. Very, very vaguely tastes like crab, but not really. Similarly, the seaweed, you get that fried seaweed from supermarkets or markets, but that's not seaweed. It's literally just lettuce, which is been deep fried. Not lettuce, cabbage or something. No, it's some kind of lettuce, but it's been grilled or deep fried, and they just call it seaweed. You can buy actual seaweed, but it doesn't taste as good. It's just kind of... It tastes what seaweed kind of looks like, just like jelly-like, but not much flavor. Alright, we're rank 1. It looks like we're actually gonna promote. Just wait for this to finish. Ooh, we actually lost a couple of battles, but we've won enough. Let's have a look, because these losses could be because of errors. It's not because of errors, we were just outplayed. Oh, we were outplayed by this guy, but he's above the boss anyway, so... Okay, Mr. Silent 5. We lost to Mr. Silent 5, even though Mr. Silent 5 is not above the boss, but he might be eventually. Let's see how we did against Mr. Silent 5. Interesting. He's going for a very early surfacing strategy. But then I go for the final surfacing. Wait, what? He must be using RNG. It's kind of... So that means it doesn't... So the result that you see here, if they were using RNG, like a random number generator, then the result might not be the same when you actually run it. So it's kind of harder to... It's harder to debug their strategy because it's like, even if you replay in same conditions, the RNG is going to cause different things to happen. Some people do that intentionally to obfuscate their strategies, to make it hard to actually figure out what they're doing. And some people just do it for convenience. It's easier than coding some sort of deterministic approach, way of picking stuff. Sometimes just pick something randomly. I normally avoid doing it because it's a pain to debug. Like, you do not want to put RNG in something if you're going to have to debug it. Because you can't recreate the scenario that failed. If you rerun it again, you get a different scenario. So it's like, yeah, it's just not worth the headache. Sea monsters will attack drones that shine their light too close. What's going to happen now? Are my drones just going to get destroyed by the sea monsters? Are sea monsters counted as fish? Because we're probably going to be hunting them down right now. Depth monsters. So are monsters already in our creatures? Probably are. So that's why we need to make the distinction between fish and monsters. And okay, creatures is the correct term then for something. If we don't know whether it's a fish or a we could make two separate lists, just one of all the fish and one of all the monsters. See what my rank is going to be. I think I'm just going to get killed by the sea monsters. Alright, let's read. If a monster is within a radius of 500 from a drone during a turn, so not necessarily the end, the drone will enter emergency mode. In this mode, all unsaved scans will be lost. Really? What, you just like jettison the data, the digital data out into the water? What? How does that work? Or maybe you're just deleting your memory to make space for emergency routines or something. Okay, whatever. The drone will activate its buoys and start ascending at a speed of 300 per turn. Until the drone reaches the surface, the drone will continue to ascend and actions will be ignored. So it's automatic. You can give it orders, but it'll just ignore them. The angler scares the data right out of you, yeah. Or it just uses that light that it's holding as a sort of like a Men in Black style memory wipe, a data wipe. Interesting. So if we get chased by them, then we don't really need to have any code for what to do. It will just happen. We can continue giving the drone orders, but it will ignore them. Monsters are detectable a bit farther than your light radius. Okay. I need to make a note of all these numbers. So we can see them. So we can no longer make the assumption that if we see something, it must be within our radius, light radius. If we see monsters, it means they're within our light radius plus 300. Fine. Okay. But we'll know its coordinates. The moment we see it, we have its coordinates. Monsters start the game with 0 speed. If a monster is within the light radius of a drone at the end of a turn, it enters aggressive mode. And will head towards the nearest drone at a speed of 540. In that case, we need to escape, I suppose. If it is no longer within a light radius, it will continue swimming in that direction at a speed of 270. If it will change direction if it is at y 2500 or at the lateral edges of the map. It is within 600 of another monster, in which case it will go in the opposite direction of the nearest monster at the speed of 200. Okay, we can ignore most of this for now. Just, we know it does stuff and it goes in certain directions, but... Oh man, so basically we want to, if we're being chased, are we told that it's aggressive? Oh, it has a type -1. Okay, good. So, because it's type -1, it does come in our list of fish to search for, but it's the very last fish we search for because it's -1. However, we lose all our scans, so basically we're making 0 progress because our current method is to find a bunch of scans, and once we have all the scans, go to the surface. But the last fish we try to scan is the monster, and obviously if we do that, we just lose all our scans. So I'm surprised we're even at 571. I guess a lot of people have broken code or whatever, so you automatically win against them. So though, yeah, we definitely need to fix some things. What does the input look like? Emergency. 1 if the drone is emergency mode. Do we care? To some extent we do care, because if a drone is in emergency mode and we assign it a fish to scan, then we don't assign, then that's depriving the other drone of that one fish, but that's such a minor thing, but we can still address it. So if it's an emergency mode, we can just not give it. We have to give it a command though, don't we? You have to. So we still have to give it a command, so we can just tell it to wait or something. Yeah. You can do some interesting things with geometry. Like if you knew the bounding boxes of the fish, the whole history of its bounding boxes, because you get one every turn. Every turn you get a box where you know it is. Then you could actually pretty much plot out its trajectory and everything. So there's kind of no end to how much kind of clever stuff you can do to narrow down exactly where a fish is. That's probably unnecessary work most of the time, but you could fairly accurately get a rough location for fish, especially if you've seen it before. Then at that point you know what its velocity and everything are, and you could predict where it will be if nobody interrupted it. But since you can see your opponent's drones, you can even account for that. Alright, so yeah. Alright. Creature count 13 to 20, depending on the number of monsters. So there's always 2 drones. We don't have more drones. Okay, fine. Let's see it in action then. So there's still no gold league, so everyone's in bronze or silver, so we're almost in the highest league. Alright, so see that the monsters are in this band here. That's pretty scary. And we don't know where they'll be to begin with, do we? So you have to tread lightly. So what does the boss do? So we go and scan some fish. The boss also kind of goes. So we all surface, even the boss did. So as soon as we saw it, we could have turned away. Could have escaped. So we might need to be very, like, you know, as soon as we get a scan, go to the surface. Any scan, go to the surface. It seems like it's so much more dangerous that we might want to do that instead. We got 0 points and the boss got 20 points. Wow. So if we just make that slight change, just head to the surface if we are holding any scans. That's an easy change to make. Just say... then we might get a few points, and that might be all we need. That could accelerate our rank pretty well. Okay, so also I need to start making more methods and stop putting all this in one big bulk. Like we could have a method for this whole thing. We can have a method for this, a method for this. That's cleanup. We need to let's make a to do. Extract some of this stuff as methods. Okay. Alright, so check the creatures in range. So here, we want to avoid monsters, don't we? Right now, the monster has type -1, so we can just say... Just throw in a little thing here. If furthest creature is not a monster. If furthest creature dot type is not equal to -1 and we are in radius, then go to it. Else do all this stuff. Hang on. This is a bit of a not clear how to deal with this right now. Monsters can appear in this list. If there's monsters, we don't necessarily want to move in the opposite direction from them. We might want to just get close enough to scan the fish without aggroing them. I don't know. This one's a bit sensitive, so I'll leave that alone for now. Here, if we have bonus points, head to surface. I would say if we have any scans, just head to the surface for now. If drone dot scans minus, so we take away all the ones that are already reported. Right, so if there's still stuff left after we delete all the ones we've reported, because I guess you can still hold scans even if they're reported. So because if someone else reported a scan, then you're still holding that. I guess, I don't know. Then just hit the surface, I would say. We need to be more careful now. So let's just do that. Every time we get a scan, just go to the surface, that's it. Because it seems like we're going to lose a lot of scans if we don't do this. So let's switch to doing that. Okay, so let's see. I cannot tell the difference between these colors. Right, that one and that one. Why is he vibrating? Alright, so... Alright, we're going every time we get a scan. So what are we holding? Why are we heading to the surface? Well, we don't have any scans. Oh, we're scared. That's why he's vibrating. We're in emergency mode. Fair enough. We're winning, though. We're actually getting scans. Just secure every scan we can get. And we got the bonus as well for getting those. So 20 points is not bad at all. Alright, let's submit that code because that's better now. Better than just doing something we know we're gonna lose to. Ooh, lots of wins, nice. That was a good start. Now, I don't think it would be enough though. There's still a lot more we need to do. Okay, so... Yeah, report scans ASAP, I think. Just do that. Because it's very likely we'll just lose them otherwise. Whoa! Shot up to the top 200. Might even keep climbing. Okay, what now? This completely changes our strategy. Like, we need to do a lot of logic to do with monsters. We know roughly where the monsters are as well. We're getting them here. So we need some sort of better weighting. What? We're in the top 10? Okay. I guess we had a lot of good logic from before anyway that carried over well. So it's, I guess with that one change it's still good. Because we're using the radar information. I think there's a lot of oversights though. There's still definitely some stuff I would say is just outright bad that we're doing. Avoid the mossenters. That's surprisingly good rank for now. Get potential bonus points. See, we don't even need this one now because we're just cashing in any points no matter what. What else? Search for fish. This is the final rule set, isn't it? There's not going to be any more rules in later leagues. No, usually bronze is the final rule set. Okay. Rank 2? Really? It looks like we might actually get promoted. We were beating the boss, well, that one time, so let's see. We might stabilize just at the top. Because it looks like these guys have been sitting here for a while. I don't think they recently submitted, so... Alright, anyway. Let's try running it again. Well, that was an interesting one. So there's only 2 monsters here. So, do we actually want to go for the... I think it's a bad idea to go for the highest value fish. I think what we actually want is... should just go for the closest fish. Just get those points in while we can. Don't go for the highest value fish, because it's dangerous. Let's see. So right now I'm prioritizing the type. Alright, go for the closest fish. That's not a monster. So c.type equals -1. That will be true when it's a monster. We want that to be false. So minimize that Boolean means we get the false value. We prioritize the false value. Well, we should actually just filter out the monsters, to be honest, but... Okay, do that for now. That'll just work. Try doing that now. So this, we got 37 to 25. Now we're just going for the closest fish. Closest scannable non-monster fish at all times. That's pretty good. Well, that was better. It was we swept up faster. I think that might be... Should I just submit that now? We're rank 3. I want to see if this stabilizes. Right, wait for it to get 100%. Because it might just promote. Otherwise, it seems like this is much better. Just don't go for the most valuable fish. Just get any points you can. Suddenly, it's become so much more difficult to even get fish, to get scans. Getting a single scan is a feat. Quite a few fish are leaving the map as well. So, like, don't worry too much about collecting the bonus points, the medals. But I mean, if you do this process, you just get them. You may just get them anyway. So we want to. I think going forward, we want to somehow plot a path that avoids anglers, monsters, given our knowledge of where they are. So we have a bunch of rectangles for where fish are, we have a bunch of rectangles for where monsters are. So you can sort of draw a line to a fish and just sort of like... there's different things you could do. Like, you could do a sum of squares of distances from all the monsters and try to minimize that. Like, just like a statistical approach. So, for all the fish, you plot a line to that fish, take how far that line is from we'll take the line which kind of maximizes the distances from all the monsters. So you could use sum of squares of the shortest distance from each monster to that line. There's like a formula for this. Ooh, we're rank 1. Okay, we'll see if this actually stabilizes. This seems like we're wavering around rank 1. It's just trying to decide if we actually beat the boss or not. It still surprises me. I don't like this strategy right now. It's got loads of holes and flaws and stuff. We need to overhaul this whole approach. Yeah, this is a mess. Every time I look at this, I'm like, what is this? I need to start modularizing this, make lots of methods for getting stuff. So it's like... yeah. And if we're in emergency mode, I guess it doesn't matter. We're just giving them commands anyway, so that's not bad. It's wasteful for only one reason, and that's for the hunted fish thing, but that's such a minor thing anyway. We could just say for drone in self-point drones, if it's an emergency mode, just continue, just skip this. That'll just avoid doing all this and also keep hunted fish free, because that can actually matter if... yeah, it could actually matter. If they're... because early on, it's quite likely that we'll be sharing the same target. Because there may be one that's pretty close. Oh, we're getting wins now. Do we have momentum? Yep, beating the boss. Come on, just a few more wins and it might determine that we got a loss. It's probably not. I think we're just gonna sit there. I can try submitting it with this. Looks like the first rank of bronze went fast. Yeah. I think I realized why now, because basically I hadn't done that radar stuff. So I was working on lots of stuff without implementing radar. So then once I threw the radar in, I quickly passed Wood League. So I guess because I had spent all my time on that other stuff, I was kind of already prepared with that stuff when I got to bronze. Whereas I think a lot of people, they just started with that radar stuff and that immediately got them to bronze. Alright, we're finished and we didn't promote. Wait, did we? I don't know. Let's wait and see what it's deciding. We're rank 1, but we're below the boss, it seems. I don't think anything's gonna happen. Okay. Probably gonna finish the stream soon. Need to go to the gym. There's no point starting anything now. I don't really want to touch it because I don't know if suddenly it'll decide we are better than the boss. No, I think we're not. Okay, so let's resubmit it with this new strategy. Just go for the closest fish, not the furthest fish, because that's kind of obviously better now. It's like alright, well, I mean, sometimes we lose to the boss. Even though we report pair few early, it seems the boss is going for the dangerous strategy. See, look, he just lost his scans there. That's probably cost him the round. But we're making zero attempt to actually avoid the monsters. It's like we don't even know they exist. To us, they're just fish. Alright, submit this then. I'm still the only one streaming. I've literally not seen anyone appear in this. In the last few days that I've been doing this. I mean, and I mean, that might be correct. There may well not be anyone streaming this, which surprises me, because in previous competitions, there were always like 3 or 4 people doing it. I mean, people have been doing it, but not... Well, that's 2022. So is he doing the previous one? Let me have a look at this. Any percent to top 10. I think he's doing last year's, unless he's made a typo. Well, this isn't CodinGame. He's just playing some game. Okay. People in chat are also pointing out that. Okay, whatever. I think there's just not many people doing it this time around. Interesting. Streaming, at least. Okay. Fine. Alright, it looks like got momentum again, but let's see what happens. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things we can do. Avoid monsters, that's a big one. That's a massive to do. Because there's several places here where we kind of need to avoid monsters. In particular, searching for fish. Right now we're just searching for the closest non-monsters. Which is a good overall strategy, I think. That's what you would do if you were playing this kind of as a live, real-time strategy game. And I'm not even worried about the bonuses. They'll just come when they come. Probably in Silver League you do need to worry about the bonuses. But... So yeah, if you just kind of predict the monster's location, on average you're going to be roughly correct. And if you don't see the monster, then that gives you a kind of a disc where you know the monster isn't, which is also, well, helpful when plotting a path, but so it's a question of how sensitive we should be when we actually see the monster, because you don't necessarily need to, you know, cancel everything and go the opposite direction and try to run away from the monster. It's like you can actually kind of just kind of swim around the monster or even go close to him, just as long as you don't end up within. So what are the ranges? 500. 500 is quite a short range because, okay, we can move at 800, speed 800. We can see our light radius is 800. So like more than half the time we'll see the monster before we get to within 500. So we have time to act. And we can move faster than him. And he's not even chasing us until we're within 500. And even when he does... Yeah, so actually... Oh, no, I got this wrong. It is actually a very big range, 1,400. And it's if we use our motors. No, that's fish. No. Here. No, okay, we were right. If it's within 500, that's quite small range. So more than half the time you actually won't trigger them. You'll see them, and you'll have time to act before they're close. And they're not even chasing you. They have their own velocity or whatever, so you know where they're heading. So you know... No, but this is just talking about emergency mode. This is the most extreme case. Didn't they say something earlier? If they are blinded by the lights of a passing drone, they will start chasing it. If they're within a light radius, but if they're within the light radius, then that means you'll see them, because you see further than your light radius when it comes to monsters. So, and they'll dash towards you at the speed of 540, but we have a speed of 600, slightly faster than the monster. So we can escape them, but it seems we do have to pretty much move in the opposite direction to do so. So the moment we get out of the light radius, they drop their speed to 270. Interesting. So the escape... So we do have to come up with an escape plan. So I would say just kind of use vector algebra, just compute the vector from us to the monster, completely flip it, go in the opposite direction at maximum speed until they're no longer in view. Okay, right now I'm just waiting to see if I get promoted or not. Okay. Looks like it's a maybe. It's a good bunch of wins. And we've still got 30% to go. Oh, we're above the boss right now. So if we're consistent, I think this might actually be promotion. which will be cool because then we'll actually know where we stand in the entire leaderboard, and it may well be bottom of silver, but and the moment this league opens gold, there's usually a rush of promotions, like everyone above the boss gets pushed up. It also means I'll get to verse people I know, because we can change this. We can add people we know, but only if they're in the same league. So most people I know are already in silver. But I mean, we can try versing someone. So Blue Hippie is saying, oh yeah, because you can actually log messages you want to say as well, which are useful for debugging, or you can just do it for fun. Zzz, he's saying. Is that just for fun? I don't think it's a debugging message. I mean, I'm surprised I can get to this rank without writing some escape code for escaping from monsters, because if I feel like surely you would need that. Because once a monster's aggroed on you, if you don't do something, he will pretty much catch up, because your speed is 600, his is 540. So unless you're going in the opposite direction to him, his vector is pretty much going to catch up to you. And if you're going to anywhere towards him, the whole plane of arcs, which are kind of pointing towards him, then he will just immediately catch up with you. So I'm surprised. Alright, okay. We did it. We're in the Silver League. Alright. I'll just wait a few minutes because I want to see what my rank is in Silver. That'll be nice to know for next time. There won't be any new rules, so we probably won't be at the bottom of Silver. We'll probably be somewhere up there, because if there's no new rules, then you're not exactly bad, because the fact that you've been top of bronze is probably a good indication. Ooh. Technical details. Did they have these before? Okay, rounded to the nearest integer. Collision between drones and monsters can occur between 2 turns. Drone monster collision management. Wait, what? I didn't think you could even collide with them. What does it mean to collide with them? Well, we've got a lot of people in this league. It didn't say anything about colliding, but I don't think... it would matter if you collide with them. Doesn't it just, as normal, you just go into emergency mode and you just rise to the surface, or... search for the word collision here. Huh. I'm not sure what they mean by collision between drones and monsters. I assumed we could occupy the same space because we can for fish. Okay. But they're highlighting this as a special case. I don't get it. Okay. Doesn't matter. I mean, if it's not come up in the description, it's probably not consequential. Alright, we're pretty much at the bottom of the league. Silver. That's weird. I thought we'd be a bit higher. Oh, let's wait a bit. Well, Dahi Ninja, monsters disable your drone when they collide. But I thought that happens when... you're within... Not when... I thought it happens not when they collide, but when you're within... Let me have a look at this. This. Or is that what is meant by collision? It means it just means they're both within 500? Okay. If that's what the term collision means, I guess that's fine. To me, I don't know, I thought collision would mean they're literally the same XY coordinates. But I would find the word collision to be misleading there. I would just say they're within range. Within 500 any point during the turn. Fair enough. Okay. So I found it weird that they didn't use the word collision here, but they did later on. That suggests, like, to me that suggests that they were talking about something different, but okay, fine. Thanks for the clarification. Alright, I'm not going to do any more coding now. Let's just see what happens regarding the rank. Oh, we're getting a few wins. Getting a few losses. We can see... We can actually face people I know now. Cool. Who is writing explicit debug statements. Okay. Explore. Interesting. So he goes the dangerous route, but he doesn't get caught. I mean, I suppose that's... makes sense. It's not hard to avoid getting caught. You just gotta have code to do that, and I don't. So... yeah. So if you have good fleeing code, I suppose is the term for it, good flee code, then you can just do what my strategy was in the Wood Leagues, which was just kind of try to collect all the fish, then go to the top. It's a risky strategy, but if you're confident that you can't get caught by the monsters, and you can pretty much offer a reasonably good guarantee of not getting caught. Unless, I don't know, you get sandwiched between two monsters or something, or trapped in the corner. I mean, that almost happened here. It looks like... See, that's pretty bad. But he's pretty close to the monster, but he's still doing explore. See, he could have got trapped there, but it looks like he had already done the geometry calculations and knew that there's a route out. I don't know. So at this point, he ascends because he's got every scan. It's interesting. Yeah, I think in this league, I think that's really what you gotta do. Try and get all the bonuses as fast as possible. Because the boss in the last league was running into the monsters all the time. Oh, we got a streamer. It's in French. This is the first time I've seen anyone streaming in the last 3 days that I've been doing this. But he's not doing... Is he? Yeah, he is doing... It's in French, though. I wouldn't be able to... Understand. It is the holidays. Yeah, but that's... I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but to me, that's all the more reason to be doing this. Because you're not at work. Am I just sad? Like, holidays is exactly the time I'd be doing this stuff more. And I mean, I think that's also the reason why they had the full challenge during these weeks, because that's when most people have holidays from their work. As opposed to having it in the fall, because it is called the fall challenge, but it's pretty late for it to be in the fall. Wait, didn't they called it the winter challenge last year, didn't they? Yeah, but it was in January or something. I don't know. Maybe it was postponed. Maybe they were supposed to do it earlier. I do remember fall challenges in the past being earlier in the year. Like this time they did it later. It's also good that they didn't coincide with Advent of Code, because Advent of Code has rapidly become like the most popular thing for programmers to do, other than CodinGame. So that must have influenced their decision about when to hold it. All right. Well, ooh. The Wheel of Struggle people are doing a Mario Kart thingy. Mario Kart 8 race. Let me check that out while I'm waiting for this to stabilize. Oh, they're not streaming it. Okay, never mind. Alright, well, it looks like we're done. Oh, okay. Just wait for this to hit 100%. I just want to see where we end up. I don't even want to write to-dos right now because I I need to have a long think about this offline. What I would do when I was in Thailand was like every day I'd go for a swim at like 4 p.m. or something and just have a good think about my coding game strategy while I'm swimming. But I can't do that now because it's too cold here in Vietnam to swim. Are we done? Almost done. I think it's pretty much stabilized here. Let me try running against. Seal was in chat a few days ago. Let's try against Seal. I want to have a look at what people are doing. So pink. So yeah, he's just kind of doing his thing as long as you avoid the monsters. He gets every medal. He literally gets every bonus point available. So I think that kind of proves that I should really just copy that overall strategy. Because it seems to work if they're so highly ranked. So I should really just try to do the same thing. Try to collect every fish. So then the question is, do you go for the deeper ones first? I would say yes, because you might just happen to collect a lot of fish on the way to those deeper fish. So you don't need to waste time going left or right to try to find the shallow fish. Just go straight for the deeper fish. You'll collect some scans along the way, and then you have fewer fish to collect on the way back. So that's probably a more optimal route. And is that what they're doing? Seems like they are just kind of making a beeline for the bottom, yeah. So they've each chosen a low-down target. Also, it seems like they're trying to maintain... Look, they're almost in perfect sync with each other, so it's like they're trying to maintain a... Like, one covers the left, one covers the right. And they're going exactly the same path. Which is interesting. They're actually mirroring each other. I wouldn't think that's a good thing to do. Like, what's the advantage of doing that? Okay, it means you have good radar, you good light coverage. I suppose there's some merit to it, but I mean, perfect mirroring? Would you really want to do that? See this little movement here? That's because of the monster. But the right-hand guy is also doing that. I suppose you could do that, yeah. Well, Ku doesn't do that, so I don't know. I don't particularly want to do that myself. It seems... It seems like it would really be better to give your drones the freedom to not have to mirror each other. It looks like it's also, look, the light perfectly touches the edge of the map, so it's like he's doing a kind of like a full sweep of the map and making sure he's covered every single nook and cranny on the map, which is interesting. Yeah. So that's one way of doing it. I'd rather sort of copy Ku's, even though Ku is ranked lower down, because I prefer this I prefer the drones being more independent. It makes the code easier to manage as well. The downside is that they might sync up and be in the same place, but we're kind of trying to avoid that by giving them separate targets, so... Well, this is an interesting one. All the monsters are at the bottom. See, Ku goes right into that wedge there, knowing that he can maneuver himself out of it. Ooh, and at the end, he's gone into chase mode. So he knows he's won. Well, he knows he's got nothing left to do, so... He figures might as well chase some fish off the edge of the map. Pretty cool. Alright, a lot to do next time. Alright. We are done. Yeah, this guy's streaming in French. I don't particularly want to raid them. They may not speak English, I have no idea. Alright. I'll just leave it there. There are eight, almost 9 days left. Feels kind of short now. I mean, there was a whole week I missed from admin of code. That's enough. That's enough time for me to at least maybe get into the Gold League. Like, if I were in the top 500 of this, then that might correspond to being in the Gold League when it opens. It depends where they've set the bar. But I would say probably, because you would want at least about that many people in the Gold League, because you'd need the Legend League. So I'm somewhat confident I can reach at least gold by the end of the competition. So we'll see. All right. I'll probably be back around the same time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.